Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about a book that I thought I would never have read, that I would have never picked up, and certainly something that I would never have expected to ever talk about on my channel. And that is a book about King Charles III. Prince Charles, as he currently is now, well, he technically is king now, but he hasn't been, but his coronation is on the 6th of March. Ever since the tragic death of Queen Elizabeth II, which shocked us all, that put Charles next in line for the throne. And how I came by this book is that I was going to work in the mall and I walked past this kind of stationery shop that sells books as well. And in the window it had a massive display poster of all the merchandise that they are doing or selling for the coronation. And this included books, soft toys, plates, and all stuff, all that type of stuff, pens, and you get the point. Anything, everything that they think that they can like sell. And there was a shelf, a small shelf section, and it had all these books on it, and this was one of them. So I picked it up. I breezed through it. I like flicked through the pages, and because this has a bunch of pictures in it, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I put it back and went to Starbucks to have a coffee. But when I was there, I discovered that his coronation was on the 6th of March, because back then I didn't, or at this time rather, I didn't know when his coronation was. I was thinking to myself, okay, if something like that happens, how would I have missed it? Because I don't watch the news that much, or hardly ever. So if something like this happens, then how would I have missed it? So knowing that his coronation didn't happen yet, I went to the shop that was about 5 minutes walk away from Starbucks, still in the mall, and I picked this up and I bought it, as well as a copy of this book, which is called The Shortest History of the Crown by Stephen Bates. I thought it would be time for me to take an interest in the royal family and obviously the king, well, the new king. So this is called King Charles, 100 Memories from His Journey to the Throne, forward by Arthur Edwards MBE, which I do not know if Arthur wrote this book or whether he just supplied the pictures, but I'm going to be saying that I was thinking he would probably have written a big part of this book as well. So this, is all in chronological order from when Charles was born, from the November the 14th, 1948, and it has all these beautiful pictures in it. Some that are black and white and some that are colour. And on a page or two, it has a moment within Charles's life, from his birth up until the, where is it? September the 10th to 2022. So let me just show you some of the pictures. Yeah, some interesting pictures. It was a real pleasure to go all through this, because I don't really know much about the royal family, even though I am British and proud to be British. I don't really know much about the royal family. I mean, obviously I know who they are, but what I mean is I have never really delved into their history and their backstory and read about them and got to know them. Obviously I've been to Buckingham Palace plenty of times. Haven't been in there before, but I would love to go in there. It was a real pleasure to pick this up every single morning and to read it before my day started, and to go on this journey and to find out a lot about Charles and to find out about him as a person. He was a very shy person, and he was a very quiet person. He liked magic, he liked being inquisitive about stuff, he liked joking around and playing around. He was just a genuinely nice person, and we find out about his love interests. Obviously, Diana is in this, and yes, it does mention her death as well. So, if that may still upset you, then be warned about that. It does mention Charles's parents, King George and obviously Queen Elizabeth, who are both deceased now, and it does mention them in this as well. And that event, it does mention members of the royal family that Charles was attached to that were either assassinated or died of their own accord, naturally died. And it does obviously mention his two children, Harry and William. And it does delve into a little bit of Harry and William's life. Not too much, but it does delve into it a little bit. But it attaches Charles to it, so there's that kind of theme throughout the book. What I liked about this book is that it has pictures on every single moment within Charles's life, whether they're in black and white or colour. Some of them, yes, are more interesting to look at than others, but it was a real pleasure to read the section of each part of the year or date or whatever, and to afterwards look at the picture in detail and in depth, and just to take it in and absorb it. Is he the most perfect and angelic person ever? Pretty much. Is he a saint? No one's perfect. No one is completely good or a saint. But it was a pleasure. It really was. It felt like this was kind of not his autobiography, but this was kind of a bite-size version of that. It was so perfect for me, for someone that, well, lives in the UK but doesn't know much about the lives of the royals, especially in this case King Charles. And it was just really accessible for someone in that situation to pick up this book and not get completely and utterly lost. You felt like you were going on this journey of Charles's life, that the author, who, whether it's Arthur or whoever, was taking your hand and was like saying, right, come with me and I'll tell you a little bit about this unique individual or this wonderful man. And in that sense, if you are trying like me to get to know Charles before his coronation or maybe after his coronation, then this is a excellent book to pick up. And if I ever see a actual full-fledged book about Charles, which, let's be fair, when he's crowned king, there's gonna be loads of books like that. I'm definitely gonna be picking up one of them and delving into his life a little bit more. And yeah, it was just really sad about when I finished this book and when I had to put it back on my shelf and said, right, it's over now, I finished it. It's like, oh, I want there to be more. And I don't really read that much historical, well, not historical fiction. I don't read that many biographies, and certainly not any historic books, which this is kind of a mishmash of the two. But it was something that I felt really passionately about and still do to this point, as he's our new king, and I felt personally it was important to me personally that I got to know him before that event. And yeah, I just can't praise this book enough. So if you're interested, like me, to find out more about this man before he gets crowned King of England, but you don't want to try to like find like a proper book and have that kind of risk about, I would say getting bored, but overwhelmed, then this is a real good bite-size book for you to read. It is a bit big, it is a hardback book, but trust me guys, this was an absolute pleasure to read. It really was, and I cannot wait to have the time in my life where I can reread this and experience it again. So it's kind of hard for me to rate something like this because it's based on someone's life and it's based on reality. But I am probably going to give it a 5 stars. It was not brilliant. My only criticism of this book is that the author, whoever it may be, did kind of like clickbait on the titles. There were a couple that I can remember distinctly about when he was saying about how he is a horrible man or something along those lines in the title, and I was thinking about, oh, are they talking about Charles? But no, it was like a conversation that Charles had with his 2 boys about the press and the paparazzi, kind of hounding them all the time and bothering them all the time, and Charles referring to a specific individual in the press as being a horrible person. And there was another title about when it was saying that he was an exhibitionist, and I was like thinking, okay, did he expose himself in public? But no, it was just about him being interested in artwork and exhibiting his art in a gallery environment. So I felt that was kind of a clickbait title as well. And something that I really, really didn't like is that when the author, again, whoever it may be, abbreviated royals' names, like Diana and William, they referred to them as Di, like D-I, and William as Will, W-I-L. And I was thinking, why did you do that? Why couldn't you just put like a few extra letters? I'm sure it wouldn't have affected the layout of the page that much if you added 3 or 4 extra letters. And I can't remember whether it was William or Harry that the author was talking about. I'm pretty sure it was Harry, but he called Harry H. And I'm like, just call them by their freaking name. You don't have to give them all these cute little nicknames. And yes, I suppose that the public did mention or refer to Diana as Di, but just put her full name or their full name in the book, and it was just kind of a real annoying thing for me to read. It really was. But with that out of the way, this was a absolute joy to read, and if you can find a copy of it, then I would recommend it. It was kind of advertised as being £10 in the shop, but in the front cover it did say that it was 15. When I paid for it, I didn't really mind paying that, or when I went to the checkout, I didn't mind paying for that because it's a hardback and I didn't really want to kind of have a moan about that. But yeah, this was an absolute joy to read, guys. If you can find a copy of it, I would highly recommend it. So guys, that's been my review for the book of the next King of England, King Charles III. Let me know, have you read anything about King Charles? This book is on Goodreads and I'm the first person to give it a rating. But yeah, let me know if you've maybe been encouraged to pick up this specific book, and yeah, please let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know if you've read anything based on Charles's life or any of the other royals. If your feelings about Charles are negative, then that's fine. Just please don't put that in the comments, because I've got a deep respect for this man. And if you have any negative thoughts or opinions about the king, then that's all well and good. You're entitled to that, but please just don't include that in the comments. So guys, with all that out the way, I'll see you on my next video.